Hi everybody, I'm back with part of my series installment. This part is on how much does homeschooling cost. I've addressed a couple of questions in prior videos. Go back and watch those. They're linked below. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. I ask you to hit the bell and subscribe if you like homeschool content. If you're new to homeschooling especially, this channel is for you because I'm helping you out. And if you are coming back, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I appreciate you so much. And so those of you who don't know, I do have a podcast, Christian Homeschool Moms Podcast. Check that out. The link is also below for if you're a faith-based homeschooler and you're interested in that, then I definitely want you to listen in on the podcast. So that's in iTunes and Spotify. Okay, on to our topic. How much does it cost to homeschool? Homeschooling can cost anything from nothing, so free, to thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And if you're homeschooling many children, then that thousands of dollars can really add up, right? So we want to look at the different costs of homeschooling. Some people will say that they homeschool for absolutely free, and that is definitely possible, but you have to you're going to pay in time or money. So you're going to have to figure out whether or not you want to actually spend the time to create curriculum or scour the web for different things you can pull together, which you can definitely do that because there are some great free resources online that you can homeschool. Most definitely homeschool your kids with those resources, especially if you have young kids. Or you can put in a little bit of money, have a budget for homeschool. Just put in a little bit of money and you can get some workbooks, you can get some, just all the materials you need to support your children's learning, textbooks you need, or if you just want to go to the library and get most of your things for free, if you want just to spend money on printer ink and go over to, just type in free homeschool resources and just find things and then print them out, then you're just paying for the ink on your printer. It depends on how you want to go about doing that, but you can definitely find free sources. And I have a couple of free homeschool resources that I will link down below. One of them is going to be Easy Peasy Homeschool. I think that's a great free resource for those of you looking for something that's absolutely no cost. You can start there. And I think it goes from K through 12th grade, so something you can look at. But after a while, when you really get your feet wet and you're used to homeschooling, you'll find that you have special resources that you're more attracted to and that you will grow into your own style of home education. So some of the things that you might have chosen in the beginning, you probably may not want to continue in the future. So start with low-cost resources or free. Some low-cost resources examples are online. You can find things like Time for Learning. Now that's debatable whether it's low cost. I believe it was 20 something a month the last time I checked. So that is debatable. But you figure out what your budget is. And if you like online learning, Time for Learning, you pay a monthly fee and your children have access to a full curriculum virtually. If you have younger kids, then totally like Starfall and ABC Mouse are really fun places that they can get some online learning, and those are all low cost as well. Then another method, of course, is to just buy workbooks. So you can go to Costco or Sam's Club, Walmart, Target, anywhere. There are workbooks, and you can just purchase, even Barnes & Noble and Books A Million, wherever you have a bookstore. And you want to find your basic subjects: grammar, math, science, social studies, but your basic ones are going to be math and language arts, okay? So if you find those, especially for younger kids, just look for math and language arts. You don't need a science, you don't need a history and social studies. You need them to read, write, and do arithmetic. So if you can find, when you find your math and language arts workbooks, they might be $15 a piece or maybe cheaper, but at the time that I'm recording this, I've seen mostly the like $15 mark for workbooks. So if you invest in a good reading workbook and a good math workbook, you've spent maybe $30. So it depends on what your goals are for your children and what you want for them. Homeschooling has different cost factors depending on what your children's interests are. If they are interested in, extracurriculars that cost a lot of money, music can be expensive, art can be expensive. Those lessons add up. If they're in theater, if they're in dance, those lessons add up. And if you say that's part of their homeschooling, then of course homeschooling then would cost more because that might be a part of what you do as a homeschooler. But as far as your basic learning, how much does that core academic curricula have to cost? It doesn't have to cost anything, but for the most part, as you grow into homeschooling, you're going to find yourself spending some money because you're going to want to start committing to resources that really work for your children as you figure out what works and what doesn't work. As your kids get older, you will have standards that you'll want to abide by as they get into middle and high school. So then you'll be looking for material that really covers those standards well. Make sure that they are using math that works for them and that, you know, that just works for them, okay? So I don't know what that publisher will be for you. It could be Saxon, that's, you know, it could be Saxon Math, it could be Singapore Math, Math in Focus, it could be Math Mammoth, it could be teaching textbooks, or just your typical standard mathematics textbooks by McDougall, or I'm trying to think of some of those textbooks, Pearson Company, and so the ones that public schools are using. So you got to figure out which kind of math programs you want to use, and that in itself can cost you a couple $100 just for math. It could cost you $150, $200 for a good math set, depending on what you're doing, right? So it really all depends on what you select. If you're a parent that really loves unit studies, then you're going to spend some money probably on unit packets. You're going to be downloading packets and printing them out. That costs money. If you're a literature-based learning person, you love your kids to be reading books on a schedule, you might try something like Sunlight or the parent company, I think of Sunlight. I can't remember what it's called right now. But when you try those programs, you're not just trying it, you're investing, because you're going to spend, you know, $200, $300, $400 on a full set curriculum for an entire year. And it's not even really a full set because you're not getting math. So if you want to add math as extra, you're getting literature, you're getting books, and they've been pre-selected for you. So if you want to follow those programs, then you spend money on that program, and it's per kid. So you got to think of the prices there. So you're paying $200, $400, $600, $800, you know, if you have 4 kids. So if, let's say you decide that that's not the program for you, you just want to do literature, you just love books, so you want to buy books and make your library more expanded at home so that your children have good books they can always go to and read, that costs money. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on books, but you might end up spending at least, you know, $3 to $5 per book, at least, if not more than that. So that costs money if you're growing a library. But if you want to just go to the library, your local library, and check out books, bring them home, read them, take them back, then of course that's free, and that just costs you money and gas. So homeschooling can cost a lot or a little bit. Now, if you are thinking about joining co-ops, I'm going to tell you right now that that's going to cost you a little something unless the co-op itself runs absolutely free and it's just like a park day or something like that. But if you're thinking of joining the ones that really need operation costs, they're going to charge you a fee to be a part of that co-op. If you want to join a parochial school, it's going to cost you tuition money. And even though it's a homeschool program, it's going to cost you. So that is something to look at as well, especially if you're looking at those items as, or those gatherings to be your kids' social. So check out my socialization video for more information about that. There are quite a few free and paid programs online. So I'm going to name a couple of free programs that homeschoolers like to try to use, especially if you are transitioning from a public school to the home and maybe you're not quite ready to take on the works of being a homeschool parent just yet. You don't want to do all the homeschooling. You want someone else to help out. Then there are free programs for that, and those are, of course, not really homeschooling, it's school at home. And so public school programs that you can run in your home are K-12 and Connections Academy. I don't know if the others, I think those are the only two I'm aware of right now. And they are absolutely tuition free. There's no cost. They send you laptop, they send you books, they send you, you get the whole program, all the art supplies, materials, everything you need is sent to your home, and you're not paying for any of this. You just, even when it's time to ship back everything, when you're done for the year, you have to ship your books back. I believe that's paid for. I think, I'm not sure, but I don't see where there's any real cost. You're not really having to meet in person with anyone in particular. So everything's done virtually. Now, on the other side, there are some paid homeschool programs, and they're online schools, I would call them. But you could use Calvert, that costs you some money. Switched on Schoolhouse, which I don't recommend, but like that's another program that can be used online. There are Some other major homeschool companies, I'm not going to mention them. You can go research it for yourself, but they have online programs, some Christian-based ones, and you know, they cost an arm and a leg, and you're basically sitting and watching other people in a classroom learning from their instructor. I don't think that's the best way for me to teach my kid, but some people like that. So it depends on what works for you, you know, and that costs some money. It's not free. There's another company that does something similar, but they have subject teachers and it's offered online. I'm not going to mention that one either. I have some reasons why I'm not going to talk about that one, but these programs do have a hefty cost connected to it. So don't throw all your money into something that just, there's glossy advertising and it's attractive. Make sure you ask around before you invest. Laurel Springs Academy is one that I think a lot of people have enjoyed, but it's very expensive. But in my opinion, it's pretty expensive for an online school. I think we might be willing to pay that if it were in person and it was like one of those homeschool collaboratives or parochial schools, then I would be okay with that price. But for online, I don't think I would want to pay that kind of money for an online school, but it's available and that might be something you want, right? So see what your family wants. There's no shame in it. So there's a book called Homeschool Your Child for Free, and I don't know the author, but I will leave a link to that and link to it somewhere. There's lots of ways you can do that. So just keep these things in mind as you start homeschooling, that homeschooling does not have to cost a fortune, but it can, and it can add up really fast. It can really add up quickly. So you have to be strategic about what curriculum that you're going to purchase. Just knowing your child's learning style is going to be very helpful. So that's all I have for you on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and go ahead and check out my website, christianhomeschoolmoms.com, and click on podcast to listen to that. And go ahead and hit the bell, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time for more homeschool information. Have a wonderful day. Bye.